history of it's definitely happened in the history of StarCraft. It depends what you kind of count as like these events, right? I would count these as like since we started doing these online events. So yeah. Since then, I'm pretty sure it's the first time.
Alrighty, well here we go. Game number 3 in, game number 1 rather in our next best of 3 series. Spotting right here in the bottom left-hand corner of Amphion, he is HeRoMaRinE.
In the top left-hand side, we're gonna have ourselves the blue Protoss player. It's ForJumy.
The good old Terran versus Protoss.
Yeah, I like this matchup. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. There's lots
Been
of
a little
different
bit of
openings.
a mix-up too. Yeah.
There's just a lot of ways to kind of play it out and everything. So, yeah, really enjoy this one. Always think it's good. And obviously excited to see what we get here between HeRoMaRinE and ForJumy throughout the course of this best of 3. I feel like it's probably going to be a lot of ForJumy trying to play a bit of trickery, perhaps, or trying to get a sneaky one. I mean, it's just a rough draw. Not only is HeRoMaRinE one of the tougher opponents, just, you know, statistically, ForJumy has never been able to do much against HeRoMaRinE at all. So, it's going to be a tough one mentally for ForJumy as well to be like, hey, never beaten this guy before. What do I change to do that? Well, yeah, if you knew that, you wouldn't have been losing to him all this time, right?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? Like, Terran has quite a few builds that are pretty safe against practically everything, so it's not like you can just go for a really cheeky opener and just try to catch them off guard. Not exactly sure if HeRoMaRinE is going to necessarily play, like, the safest style either, because he does, of course, like being in your face and, well, just doing that Terran thing where they're just trying to be as annoying as possible in the earlier stages, right? But I do agree with you, just playing a straight-up macro game right here against the biggest of Gapes is going to be very tricky. That's exactly what HeRoMaRinE likes to do. He's been competing at a high level for many, many years, and it's never going to be an easy opponent. He's never been.
Nope, he's never been an easy opponent. He's not going to suddenly become an easy opponent. That much is for sure. You see this Reaper escaping back up the left-hand side. It's just getting out of there for the moment. Getting out of trouble. And going to go cause some trouble in the base of his opponent. So away we go. Trouble on route. Here's the main. Obviously would like to scout. Stargate is being built here, and that Reaper has a free way to go see it, as this Reaper's going to get a probe as well. Adeptus wasn't here, and that is going to be one dead probe, looking for 2, but it's going to be scary with the other probes chasing back. So good little bit of control at the end there to help you save a second probe. HeRoMaRinE gets out of there with that Reaper, and did see the Stargate along the way.
Absolutely. Seeing the Stargate is very nice. It automatically means that, for example, sending, in an extreme example, a Raven across the map, right, against a Phoenix opener, that would be quite suboptimal. Don't want to be losing any of your units for free, so maybe it's going to push HeRoMaRinE into a bit more of a defensive position as far as flying units go, but there's no denying that this also sort of forces ForJumy into a more defensive spot too, right? Usually these Stargate openers do lead towards Colossi eventually, and well, you can keep the Terran occupied. It is going to be Phoenixes, by the way. He decided to hide what he was going to make, but I mean, if you're going to hide it, it's probably going to be Phoenixes. Either way, this pretty much always leads towards a bit more of a macro-focused style from the Protoss too, so I think HeRoMaRinE will be more than happy to play against this.
Yeah. No, I think so. That's, I think, honestly, HeRoMaRiNE's just like, cool, Phoenix, well, I know a bunch of good timers that work well against Phoenix, and that's what HeRoMaRiNE loves in this TVP. Hitting you and hitting you hard at the right kind of time to just punish what you're doing. He's very good at that. I really expect him to bring it out in this series because, yeah, I don't think HeRoMaRiNE's here to mess around. I think he means business when he shows up to these events, and he knows that he's going to be a favorite against ForJumy. He knows it's going to be tough for ForJumy to get through to the long game, so why not try and pressure that point early and just have a quick, easy round 1? That's his expectation. It's up to ForJumy to kind of disrupt that and to kind of, you know, disrupt our expectations of that as well, so we'll see what he tries to do again. Just Phoenix into Robo, probably Colossi. Just going to play it very safe initially here on Amphion and just work from there.
Yeah, absolutely. There are, of course, some powerful timing attacks. We've already seen Terrans mess around a little bit with the left side of the map in particular, mine out those resources and try to push through that left section of the map. It is only accessible after either destroying a bunch of rocks or after going for those mineral fields. There's that Robo Bay. We are going to make a safety immortal in the meantime. So ForJumy just going for the macro game so far. Not really trying to trick his opponent. He's going to try and test the waters and see where he's currently at. So he's letting HeRoMaRinE do whatever he likes. HeRoMaRinE is going to get rid of that bunker. Realizes he doesn't need it. But there's the Stimpak, there's the combat shields, and the +1 infantry weapons. All of those are going to finish up right around the same time. It's going to be a nice little power spike for those Marines.
Yeah, I mean, once those Marines are powered up, that's obviously going to be one of our first timers. Get across and see if there's anything we can do with them. So we'll be kind of keeping our eyes on that. And as a couple of SCVs went down, Marines there already chasing the Phoenix back a little bit. The Robo Bay is about to finish up as well, so that's going to be online in the next few moments. The Marines get here. Phoenix very nearly goes down, not quite though, just about able to survive off over to the side.
Okay, and here we go. We are going to start mining out some of those mineral fields, it looks like. I don't think it's going to be for aggression, because at this point there's no siege tanks, there's no widow mines, widow mines, well, there's no widow mines either, but there's no medeffects is what I was going to say. I think this is just for HeRoMaRinE to maybe find a base that he can easily expand to and send some SCVs across. He is, however, marching right now. Any Stimpec is going to be costly, because these units are going to deal damage to themselves. He finds one of the Immortals, though. Yeah, Shield Battery is not done yet. Colossus is not here yet. Immortal is going to not be targeted, but he's going to get a really good trade against these very expensive units. Now, finally, the Phoenixes do show up.
Oh, my God.
Colossus is going to pop out right now, but that is so much damage. My God, he got the Immortal, too, at the end.
Yeah, it's very smart to ignore the Immortal at first, right? Because the Immortal doesn't really do great against Marines. What's the Immortal good at? Not dying quickly. So actually, if you hit the Immortal, the problem is that then you're wasting loads of shots on it. But realistically, an Immortal doesn't kill Marines quickly. It chunks, and it doesn't really do much. And chunks again, like, you know, the other units were way better targets, and that was a massive trade for HeRoMaRinE. Resources lost twice as efficient for him.
Perfect timing, too, right? Like, he finished that fight basically as the Colossus spawned.
Yeah. It's absolutely spot on. Takes a third base now, and this is already a great spot, because now ForJumy's going to struggle to have the right amount of tech units up to really defend against future attacks. This is already trouble across the board for ForJumy.
Perfect timing right there by HeRoMaRinE, catching his opponent off guard, and any timing attack right now from Protoss has been thrown out of the window. Not really a whole lot you can do here as ForJumy, other than just sort of take your expansion and try to macro here from behind. But this is that moment in the game that already can be really scary for Protoss when everything is normal. Right now you're finding yourself pretty far behind against a Terran, and then it's a Terran as well of HeRoMaRinE's caliber. Yeah, this is rough. There's a Ghost Academy coming up as well, so that is going to make any sort of charge slots, any sort of, well, Archons, any real Protoss army a little bit easier to deal with. And HeRoMaRinE just tidying up the game a little bit, getting the perfect trade there earlier on. He's going to start pumping out some more army units here. Should be seeing some Vikings momentarily too.
Yeah, well, he knows what his opponent's doing as well, right? So he knows it's about Phoenix Colossus, and so if you're doing that, Viking count is king. You get enough Vikings up, you can trade with the Colossi in a big way, or the Phoenix in a big way. That opens the door to eating up the Colossi. There's just a lot you can do there in general. So it kind of makes sense, and yeah.
Yeah, this Protoss army is not very good without the Colossi, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Without the Colossi, there's like 4 units left over. So if you can deal with those, you can probably just push for the win. The only thing I don't quite like here for HeRoMaRinE is that he didn't fire up any 2-2 research yet. So he's really, I guess he's really committing to a big push.
Yeah, I mean, just delaying the tech delaying the upgrades for the tech instead is a very common thing to do. At this kind of point in the game, right? 2-2 versus like double tech, because you basically go Ghosts, or Vikings, or both, and then no upgrades. This is just going to be a one-sided fight. That's an absolute stomp. And now it's going to chase. There's a Prism here. It misses the pickup on Colossus 1 and 2, and GG.
That was pretty much a perfect game right there for HeRoMaRinE. He did not struggle at all. That timing with the Marines was practically flawless. He got everything and then some with that push, and then the follow-up aggression was really, really strong as well. I mean, yeah, that was really good. If you're a HeRoMaRinE fan, if you're a Terran fan, you probably really enjoyed that game. That was insanely good.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not like Yumi really...
Nothing to really say. Like, I mean, the Phoenix went there. Basically, the Phoenix went on the natural. When the first attack happened, if the Phoenix there, you lift up a bunch of the Marines, you take the DPS away, maybe you hold. Battery was... Yeah,
that's one of the downsides of playing Phoenixes, right? Like, you're just so dependent on those Phoenixes too, but you kind of need to play them at least somewhat aggressively, and then if suddenly there's a huge army in your natural expansion, those Phoenixes are fast, but not fast enough. Maybe he could have recalled them to get him into the fight a little quicker. No, maybe he didn't have the energy for it, but anyways, doesn't really matter. In the end, it was HeRoMaRinE who ended up winning it, and he's done that very dominantly.
We're going to go for round 2 right now as we head into TVP. Crimson Court HeRoMaRinE looking for a 2-0 to start off his ESL Spring Regionals campaign. And to round us out for Group A today, again, all the Group A matches are one playing a day. We're going to have one Group B match at the end. I imagine just some scheduling requests there as we get ready to jump into Crimson Court.
Absolutely. We are.
Indeed.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
So,
already.
spawning right here. In the bottom left-hand corner with the blue Protoss pieces, we have ForJumy.
And the top right, with the red Terran pieces, is going to be Mousesports HeRoMaRinE.
Who's been with that team for ages.
Yeah, we say this
It's
every
been a
time.
very long time. Yeah.
That's pretty much the longest running partnership in StarCraft 2 and in a big way in a lot of esports as well. So it's a really crazy one. As you just drop down, cheeky little barracks and a cheeky little gateway on the other side as well, so we get ourselves settled in here for the moment. We get everything ready to go.
Yeah, so what exactly do you change here for ForJumy, right? Like, that's such a frustrating game because you have everything going for you, but you're just out of position. You just barely didn't see that move out. It really is it's a very, like, StarCraft 2 is very difficult in many ways, right? But it's just so easy for a game, especially with Phoenixes, to go horribly wrong. Because usually when it goes wrong with Phoenixes, it just is an absolute disaster.
Yep.
At least when you lose a Stalker or two with a Blink Stalker opener, you can sort of recover. But when something goes terrible in your, or something goes poorly in the early game, it usually goes quite terribly for you. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe going to be more of a Blink Stalker-y type of opener. We'll have to find out in just a moment, but
Well,
yeah, it's not like HeRoMaRinE won't have an answer against that either.
it's one of those things, right, with the Phoenix where it's like, you're just so reliant on the Phoenix count being good, and the Phoenix are very safe in good numbers. The moment you lose one, you're nowhere near as safe in one way, and that means you overcompensate, and then you're not safe elsewhere, and this knock-on effect is just absolutely huge, so yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens in the end as Reaper comes up, Factory going through, Cybercore, Nexus, all on the way out. Simulator building from ForJumy. And we get this ready to rumble as Reaper continues to go out across the map as HeRoMaRinE looks for early info, of course. Figured out it was a Stargate super early on last game. Let's see if we can spot the tech choice early this time.
Yeah, so last time around when he saw the Stargate, he decided to commit to a triple Rex opener with, of course, a delayed factory and then also a delayed starport. This time around, though, already making some deviations as he's already finished up the factory at this point in time. No tech yet here for ForJumy, so we're expecting that this is likely going to be a Stargate in just a moment. It's a little bit more of an expensive structure compared to the Twilight Council, although, well, so far he's just stacking up the resources. Losing a bunch of probes at home as well. That adept is way across. 2
probes going down. I mean, we're going to delay the CC. Is it worth it? Yeah, I mean, it's decent to delay the CC, of course, but I mean, 2 probes is still 2 probes as well, and we're still also delaying that tech. We've got the money, as you mentioned, banked up. We're just not spending it, because I assumed he didn't want to show what it was so easily, but at this point, the tech's so late. Yeah, this feels bad.
Robo facility. Do you really need to hide a Robo for that long? Are you that concerned? Like, he's building it right now out front, too, so there's a good chance that these Terran units are going to find out about it in just a moment regardless. Gets an Adept in exchange for a Reaper. I think HeRoMaRinE will be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think the Robo is obviously something which is just... I don't even know. I mean, that to me feels like it's almost the least punished by a late build, right? Because, like, with Blink, you really want that timing to be done. The Phoenix, the count is important. I mean, obviously the Robo is important because the timing of the Immortal popping out and everything, but a lot of the time initially on the Robo you get like an Orbs and then maybe a little Harassing Prism. So the fact that it was Robo late due to the gas being delayed or whatever is like maybe the least impactful.
It's fine.
But then I kind of just hate that it's a Robo, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Robo openers in general either. It never really seems to work out that well. So again, you kind of turn into like almost like a Terran punching bag from here, right? Like Terran just gets to sort of do whatever they like. And I don't think HeRoMaRinE really minds that at all. He's looking around, making sure that everything is pretty safe. He's seen the Robo facility timing from his opponent, so he knows that he doesn't really have to be concerned of anything here in the future. And again, HeRoMaRinE can start building up for a timing that he is most comfortable with. Now, he did go for the bunker, by the way, just super safe, not really taking any risks. Yumi's economy, though, is looking a little bit better here than HeRoMaRinE's for the time being.
Yep, absolutely. His Eco looks fine, but I mean, at the same time, HeRoMaRinE's getting into everything he wants. He's getting the tank, the Marine, the Raving setup all kind of going, so that's kind of everything we expect as the double Widowmine drop comes in. 1 drop, 2 drop, probes pull away already. And we're going to go kaboom just for a couple, but the other Widowmine still has to be dealt with. If you don't deal with it, then of course, you're going to be having to delay your mining time even longer. We're going to save both Widowmines. Beautiful for HeRoMaRinE.
Gonna hide it in the corner. Jumi decides to go into the glaive adepts here, so that is the ultimate goal, I guess, to try and just turn this into a bit of a Protoss all-in too. HeRoMaRinE already preparing though against any sort of real Twilight Council follow-ups here with that Raven too. He would be fine against, say, some cheeky Dark Templar coming in, a unit that we've seen deal a lot of damage so far here today.
That's right.
But not so much in this particular series, I guess, huh?
No. Didn't really get a chance to build it. Glaives from ForJumy is kind of fun though, right? I mean, maybe if you just go for like a big glaive immortal attack, you can catch HeRoMaRinE a little bit off guard. Maybe that's where your opportunity comes from. I don't hate it. It's something different. It's a little bit offbeat.
That was it.
Oh, listen, that sucks. Yeah, it's a bit different. It's a bit offbeat, and that's why I kind of like it. It may not work. I feel like it's got a better chance to work. And holy goodness, how did that happen?
That could have been an absolute disaster right there. But luckily for ForJumy, he did defend that very cleanly.
Yep.
Wonder if HeRoMaRinE maybe could have retargeted and still reached the tail end of that pack of units, but anyways.
Yeah, probably too far
HeRoMaRinE
right?
really not taking a lot of risks here.
I think probably just a little bit too far
Building
away.
it up.
Anyways, I mean, here comes the attack, right?
probably.
So, I mean, the thing is, HeRoMaRinE is not ready to move out anyways because he doesn't have stims, so the defense looks good. The full wall is there. Looks horrible to try and attack into this with a glaive adepts.
Yes. There's no third command center with this, so he's not taking any risks economically or anything like that. He is perfectly set up to defend whatever. Even a Raven right now, he realizes he doesn't need it at home, so he decides to send that one and see if he can maybe move it across and throw some auto turrets in the opponent's mineral line. There are a lot of siege tanks set up. We're going to do a little bit of elevator play here. Okay. Well, the Viking is going to put on a bit of work. God, this is going to take 7 years, though, to get up to the high ground. I was going to say, we're going to ferry the entire unit comp up there. It's going to take a long while. And now Stimpec, I mean, it's a ticking time bomb here. Quite literally on the right side of your screens. It's finishing up, and the natural expansion is going to be denied for a while, too.
I mean, ForJumy, we got to go do something, but I get it. Like, it's almost impossible to find the moment because the moment isn't there. Yeah, that's just a complete wall off. Complete wall of the natural.
And now +1, combat shields, and Stimpec are done. And that is going to make this Terran army that was already very difficult to beat here for the Protoss player even more powerful. He's hoping maybe he can stumble upon something here, destroying the rocks more or less out of frustration than really out of any necessity. Ah, he's going to march back home. Oh, it's the march of shame. Yeah,
like
you can't do anything with that army, but I also don't think you can go home.
I mean, walking back home is bad enough, but walking back home when you're still, it's not even like he expanded behind to be like, okay, this ain't working, backup plan. He's like, I'm walking back home. Maybe he's just going to wait for Storm and just send it still on 2 bases or something. Like, maybe hope HeRoMaRinE messes up and moves out. The problem is, all these adepts become worse the longer this game goes. So your army actually is a ticking time bomb in itself because these adepts really just suck. The more units there are, they just don't trade well enough. They can't stand up for themselves. I mean, there's no real good way to trade out adepts because it's going to be tough to find a way to send them into enough mineral lines to trade them out. It just sucks, man.
A couple of adepts over here, though, getting some damage in, yeah.
Okay.
Look at that line of red, though, on the minimap right now. There's a huge army. Now, that was 10 SCVs. That's not bad at all.
I mean, there you go. There's a way to throw some adepts away, I guess, but at the same time, it's also because HeRoMaRinE is on a one-track mind across the map. You'll see no third base. I'm not sure he's really too bothered about no third. I think he's going no matter what. I think he knows his opponent's investment to this was way too much and didn't do anything at all, so he knows he can get away with just sending it. And I mean, the tank siege, the is just going to have to deal with these adepts, but I mean, this is looking fine. The tanks are going to melt the adepts away. It's not even going to be close. Storm finishes.
He dodged the storm. Yeah, he didn't even realize, I don't think, that storm was going to be finished, but he dodged. He was already running, and then the storm was put in the path of those Marines. I mean, an amazing fight right here for the Terran player from Germany. Honestly, brilliant stuff right here from HeRoMaRinE in this entire series. Just looking rock solid, not really making any mistakes, not really taking any real chances. GG is called.